Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Crimes, Killers, Cults,
And beer.
and Beer. I'm Bill, and this is my lovely co host Sandra, and this is episode 136.
Hey.
Sandra's back. I told you all should be back. I told you I did not lose another co host.
No, I'm back. It was just something suddenly came up.
Yeah. And since I know so many podcasters, I was able to find somebody to fill in. It's a shame because you missed a really good one. I think that was one of my best deliveries that I've done ever.
Well, I mean, it's okay. I was gonna say that I don't know how good your delivery is on a daily, so it's okay.
Yeah, I'm really proud of that one. So anyway, be sure to stay tuned after the episode for Sandra's husband Doug to do his beer of the week segment. If you need a good recommendation for him, he's your guy. That man knows more about beer than I know about beer.
And more than I know, which is not saying much, but hey.
Yeah. So,
he knows a decent amount.
This is a Florida story. It takes place in Daytona Beach. It's a love triangle turned greedy and deadly. Diedre Hunt was born February 9th, 1969 in New Hampshire. She and her boss, slash former lover, Constantino Fotopoulos.
Are you like making up words?
No, it's Greek.
Constantino?
Constantino Fotopoulos.
Fotopoulos?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I have no idea if that's correct, but
we'll just refer to him as Kosta for the rest of the episode.
All right.
But she and Kosta murdered two people in part of a murder for hire / insurance scam. There's a Greek community in Daytona Beach, and like with most communities, within communities, they kept to themselves for the most part, unless it's business. This group was money. Lots of them ran successful tourist trap shops that sold T-shirts, shells, and whatnot, trinkets. They're all pretty much the same. It's just whichever one's closest to you or has the coolest sign. But
Lisa, or the best Saganaki, or the
yeah. Lisa and Kosta were well known in the area. On the outside, they were just friendly people who were community minded. They were wealthy, and they owned pretty much everything on Daytona Beach's boardwalk. Kosta had immigrated to the U.S. for college and to chase the American dream. Lisa was born in the U.S. In another well-known Greek family, the Paspalakis family.
This episode's going to be fun with the pronunciation. I think. And if you're Greek, I believe Bill apologizes profusely because he's butchering your names.
I'm sorry. Her father had immigrated to the U.S. and got into real estate and did very well for himself. Lisa got a degree in accounting and went to work for her father doing the books for her father's various businesses. Old school Greeks believed in arranged marriages to strengthen the family. So she was married off to Kosta, and they quickly became a power couple. Kosta was friendly, loved being the life of the party, but he was also obsessed with being seen and recognized. Lisa's father died in 1988, and Kosta and Lisa moved in with her mother to take care of her, which was also an old Greek tradition. Lisa acquired all of her dad's businesses, which made them the most powerful couple in Daytona Beach. Although successful, they weren't a happy couple. Like I said, it was an arranged marriage put together strictly to bolster the family, and deep down, Kosta wanted it all for himself. Greed was definitely a motivating factor with him. One day he noticed a vacant bar on the boardwalk that he wanted. He went to another bar owner that he knew named Tony Calderoni. That's Italian. I think I got that one. And convinced
Tony. He went to Tony.
With the Tony Calderoni. And convinced him to invest and they would be partners. And Tony agreed, and Top Shot's billiards parlor was opened. It's not there now. When I looked up Top Shot's Daytona Beach, I found a gun shop and a shooting range. And it's not in the same location. It's not on the boardwalk. You're not going to have a shooting range on the boardwalk. But
unfortunately not.
Yeah. But with the name Top Shots becoming a gun store, in the grand scheme of things, that's a little ironic, but put a knife in that.
All right, first knife. Here we go.
There's a couple in this one. Top Shots became a top spot for transients and young people. A really fun place, actually. This place also became Kosta's spot. He would flaunt his wealth there. He carried himself as a bit like a big shot businessman, and he was able to dazzle the young 20-somethings that frequented the place. He loved to flaunt that wealth. He would also tell stories that he was a commando or an assassin. And he even told some people that he was a ninja.
I think if you're a ninja, you just don't say anything.
Yeah, you don't say anything.
Although it kind of reminds me, what's the plural of ninja?
Ninja.
Nope, ninja, because you never know how many there are.
Oh, that's true. There's one right behind me.
Yeah.
He's just really well hidden.
Could be.
And also, if anybody tells you that they work for the CIA, they don't.
Yeah, probably not.
So, in 1989, 20-year-old Diedre Hunt came into Top Shots looking for a job. She was broke. She was drop dead gorgeous. Kostas' partner Tony was working that day, and he talked to her, and he asked what she could do. Diedre replied, "I can do anything you want." Yeah,
what that mouth do? That's really the question.
I think you'll see. It's just the way that she comes off. Yeah, it's just she came off with I'm confident. I can do whatever you need me to do. He told Diedre that he needed a server, and she was hired. And she was a good hire too. Top Shot's business drastically increased because of Diedre. She was a hustler who knew how to use her looks and personality to get what she wanted, and she would work in a bikini.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Tony put her up in a hotel down the street until she was able to get a place of her own. And when Kosta met her, he was smitten with the thunderbolt like Michael Corleone when he met Apollina Vitelli in The Godfather. You have seen The Godfather, right?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, when I make him an offer, I can't refuse.
Leave the gun. Take the cannolis.
Yes, leave the gun. Take the cannoli.
He told Tony that he thought she was the one for him and asked, he's like, "She's the one for me. Can I have her?"
Because that's how you get a girl. I like that one. Can I have her?
Yeah. Tony's like, "You want to take over our hotel bill? Go right ahead."
Yeah.
So he started paying for the hotel, and they began spending lots of time together in and out of Top Shots. Lisa caught on quickly and told Kosta that if he cheated on her, he'd be finished and he wouldn't get any of her father's businesses. This obviously didn't go. Oh, huh?
Did she have a prenup or something?
No, it wasn't clear, but this is 1989. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure that she wouldn't have gotten anything, or that he wouldn't have gotten anything because of how he reacted to it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, if they're married, I mean, pretty much what's yours is mine. What's mine is mine, right?
This didn't go over very well. Their marriage got nasty. November 4th, 1989, a man called 911 saying he heard gunshots from his house. Police were dispatched, and the dispatcher heard somebody screaming in the background of the call. A woman was heard screaming that she had been shot. An ambulance was also sent. The caller was Dino Paspalakis, Lisa's younger brother, who lived in the house with them. According to Dino, it was Lisa who had been shot. And when the police got there, they could still hear a woman screaming. And it turned out that Kosta had told Dino to call 911. Police found Kosta with Lisa, who was bleeding from a head wound. He said that the two of them had been asleep, and they woke up and there was a gunshot in the room, and there was an intruder standing over Lisa. Kosta grabbed his gun and shot the intruder 5 or 6 times. There was a young man face down on the floor, dead with gunshot wounds. Lisa was taken to the hospital. Kosta was paranoid about getting arrested, despite the fight that it was maybe I need to drink a beer.
Despite the fact
that it was self-defense. Police assured him that if it was in fact self-defense, he had nothing to worry about. Police initially determined that it was an armed robbery gone wrong, and Kosta reaped the rewards. The whole city was calling him a hero because, he had defended his wife by killing the robber.
She was shot in the head. I mean, he could have. I guess he defended her, but I mean, thanks for defending me. But if I'm shot in the head, I don't really think it matters at that point how much you defend.
Well, he was around town. Somebody broke in and shot my wife, and I unloaded my gun into that motherfucker. He was such an attention whore.
Well, not soon enough to stop her from being shot in the head, apparently.
But Lisa survived. And the robber turned out to be 18-year-old Brian Chase. Now, Brian was somebody who had helped out at Top Shots, and they paid him under the table. Police began the investigation thinking that Chase had fingered Kosta specifically because he was rich. And this obviously wasn't a random robbery in that case. A sliding glass door had been broken, and they figured this is how Chase had gotten in. I wonder if Brian Chase had a brother in Sacramento, California, named Richard. Richard Chase.
No.
He also liked to break into people's houses, among other things, and kill people.
Yeah. Well, did he actually break in, or did they just, lay his body neatly on the floor after murdering him?
We'll get there. This one's short. This one's short.
Just curious.
You won't have to wait very long.
Did I already spoil the surprise?
Nah.
Just thinking.
But the doors had small panes, and broken glass was on the outside of the door, not the inside, which didn't sit well with the investigators. Nothing was out of place leading up to the bedroom either, and also Kosta was closest to the door of the bedroom. Chase had walked around the bed and shot the less threatening of the two. That made no sense. November 7th, an anonymous call comes into the police department. The caller was talking about the shooting of Lisa and Brian Chase. He said that he had been offered money to kill Lisa. And who do you think offered the caller the money to kill Lisa? Take a guess.
Kosta?
Nope.
Dino?
No.
Tony?
Nope.
Wow.
Diedre Hunt. It was Diedre that tried to set it up. He said that she had been having an affair with the owner of Top Shots. So the police start looking into Diedre. She grew up in New Hampshire. Her mother was bipolar and abusive, and Diedre was molested at 7 years old, then raped at 11. That childhood will lead to demons that will never, ever go away. And at 20 years old, she came to Daytona wanting a fresh start and a clean slate after serving 6 months in jail for a compliance charge and an armed robbery.
Oh,
The police brought Diedre in for questioning. She wanted to talk, and she told them that if she did talk, Kosta would hurt her, so she wanted protection. Diedre finally did start talking. She said that it started out as friends, but then she started sleeping with him, and it wouldn't be too long before Kosta was saying that he loved her, and at this point they had only known each other for 3.5 months. She knew that he was married to Lisa, but she didn't care.
Is her first name Diedre?
Diedra. Or, no, wait, hold on.
Diedre?
Diedre. Diedre.
Diedre.
Diedre?
Diedre. Mm-hmm.
There's no A in it.
Diedre.
Okay, fine. Diedre.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's Diedre, but I mean, I don't know. I'm a little better at pronunciation than you sometimes, but I'm pretty sure
there's no Deirdre.
A. Diedre. Look up the pronunciation of that name. Do it right now. I'm about to look it up because I'm pretty sure it's Diedre.
The following pronunciation is brought to you by pronouncenames.com. Diedre. Diedre.
Fine, Diedre. Diedre.
Anyway, continue.
They had come up with plans to kill Lisa so that they could get married. And she also said that Lisa had a $100,000 and a $250,000 life insurance policy, with murder as a double as a way to get double indemnity. Murder, I've never heard of murder being if you're murdered, you get double indemnity. That seems like you're setting up for failure. But I guess you can stipulate whatever you want to double it. But if that happened, the policies would double, making it a $700,000 payout. Diedre said that she recruited Brian Chase and offered him $5,000 to carry out the hit. She gave him the gun and told him to fake the robbery and to kill Lisa, and it had to be done yesterday because that's what Kosta wanted. Chase attempted the hit several times. One time he tried to throw a brick through the window, but the window wouldn't break. And I want to know what kind of glass that was because I want to put that type of glass in my windows.
Oh, I'm just wondering who didn't notice, or did they notice that the brick was hitting the window, or was no one home, or
I don't know.
I mean, I think you would notice if, like, all of a sudden a brick just smashed into one of the windows in your house,
or bounced off. It bounced off the window.
Yeah, yeah, tink. Like I don't know. He didn't realize. Like, what was that extremely loud ruckus?
Could you describe the ruckus?
Exactly.
Another time, a motion sensor light came on and he bolted. Then they staged a break-in, and he was told to get in, shoot Lisa, grab some things on the way out, and then go out the front door, which would trigger the alarm, and he would have 10 minutes to bounce. Diedre knew that Chase was never going to make it out alive. The plan that she and Kosta had together was that Kosta would kill him in self-defense, which, of course, he did. She was telling the story like me as a podcaster telling it, although probably with better pronunciation.
I'm sure she pronounced her name correctly, at least.
Maybe. But she was telling it like she had absolutely no skin in the game, or like she was describing a movie plot. And then, from out of nowhere, Diedre blurted out that she and Kosta had killed a boy in the woods a couple weeks earlier. Just word vomit.
Why would you say that? Like, I don't know. Unless she just got really nervous or something, freaked out.
She wasn't nervous. She was confident. She was thinking that if she was thinking that she would get some type of a deal if she was upfront with him. 19-year-old Kevin Ramsey used to work for Kosta, and Kosta was mad at him and wanted to kill him. He was from North Carolina and was a drifter. This is crazy. Kosta told Kevin to come with him and Diedre to do some type of initiation, a hunter-killer type club that he was part of. Basically like Robert Hansen. You know, where you hunt your prey and all that stuff. He
Oh,
he backed this up with his bullshit paid assassin story, and he claimed to have killed 8 people professionally at that point. Sounds legit.
yeah, see, I guess when you have so much money, or what do? Hunt people for sport, because that's all that's left for thrills and fun, right?
Robert Hansen did it. There's a bunch of movies with that as the plot.
Oh yeah, of course.
And the bad guy in the last series of Dexter was doing that too.
Look at the Hostel series. All of the Hostels. That's their whole thing.
Yeah.
Kidnap young kids for rich people to torture and murder.
Yeah. And you could even put Taken into that category as well, kind of loosely though, but still, it's still in that category.
She was more sex trafficked, I think, than.
Well, yeah, but still, for rich people to abuse.
Yeah.
And eventually kill. So yeah, it's not the exact same type of story, but it's in the same neighborhood. They were going to take him out in the woods off of I-95, tie him to a tree, and shoot at his feet. And if he could take that one without freaking out, he was in. And this would lead to Kevin getting a career in the CIA. Kevin agreed to this.
Poor Kevin. I mean, I feel bad for the kid, but
I know.
But use your head, people.
Yeah, we're gonna find out why Kosta was mad at him later, which makes this even more insane. But Diedre, of course, was using her sensuality, and that likely helped convince him to do it. Like, honey, leaning over with the shirt hanging low and all that stuff. You want to be a big CIA guy, don't you?
Wow. I don't know. Maybe they role played together. You know what I mean? Like, like, yeah, baby, I'll let you investigate me.
Once he was tied up, Kosta handed Diedre a 22 with a silencer on it, and then walked off. But put a knife in that. He pulled out a video camera and told Diedre to shoot Kevin, and she did 3 times in the chest and once in the head. Diedre took police to the spot in the woods, and before they even got there, you could smell the corpse. They found him still tied to the tree. His identity was later confirmed as Kevin Ramsey with dental records, and Diedre was arrested for murder. And when she was read her rights, she acted like she was shocked that she was being arrested. Like, what are you arresting me for? I've told you everything.
I brought you right to the body, right to the person that I murdered. Why am I being arrested for murder?
I'm a hero. And she gives a little puppy dog eyes. Sticks up the bottom lip out.
Oh. I thought that was going to work.
I'm Diedre. I'm the sexiest girl in Daytona, and I'm banging the richest man. And
we're like, hold on, can we go back and let me put on my bikini, and I'll take you out here again?
Can we go back and pretend like I never said any of that? Actually, I made all of this up. I made everything up. That's just a mannequin.
Stuffed with old meat. That's why it smells the way it does.
Yeah. It's a mannequin.
Seems legit. Oh my God. This is going to be an outtake probably, but I have a funny story with a mannequin.
It's never a mannequin.
Oh my God. Yeah. And so my husband used to go to, and I used to go, out camping and stuff like that. We'd go camping. And one of the campgrounds used to be a site where they did like The Greatest Loser or something like that. Like that like reality show program or whatever, where they would Biggest Loser. I don't know. But I guess they were having relay races at this campground where the person had to drag around a mannequin that looked like their spouse or whatever. Like if your spouse was ever injured, could you pull them, or whatever? I don't know what, but they recovered this mannequin that I can't remember the name. They recovered this mannequin, and for a while, it was passed around, and this mannequin ended up at our house. Now, I didn't know this. Okay, I didn't know that Doug had the mannequin. This mannequin he put like in the garage kind of. We had like a little storage room in our old house, but he put this mannequin on the floor in the garage and didn't tell me that it was there. So one day I'm coming out, I'm going to work in the morning and it's dark. And the mannequin also happened to be an African American gentleman. So it's dark and I'm going to work and I open the door to the garage and I step into the garage and it wasn't a full mannequin. It was like a half mannequin. So it looked like a dude was sitting on my floor. Just some random ass dude was in my garage. So I opened the door and he's sitting there and oh my God, I freaked the hell out. I was like, and then I went, and I think I ran back into the house and I was screaming. And then I'm looking a little closer, like, wait, because it didn't move. And I'm like, hello? What the hell? And I'm going out there and I'm looking at it. Oh my God, it's a stupid ass mannequin. I think it was like Wilfred or something they named him. I don't know what they named him. Alfred. I don't know. But I told Doug later, I said, you nearly gave me a freaking heart attack with that stupid mannequin you had back there. I didn't know it was there. You scared the hell out of me. So
that's not going to be an outtake. You know why? Because for the first time in the history of true crime podcasting, it was a mannequin. Yeah, nice. Whenever witnesses that find bodies, like at first you thought it was a mannequin. It's never a mannequin. Well, this time it was a mannequin.
Yeah, mm-hmm. It was in fact a mannequin. Yeah, but if you ever want to give your spouse a heart attack, bring home a random freaking mannequin and put it in a place where they frequent, especially when they're tired and going to work or whatever. Just a nice dark little alcove of your house and freak out. And I'll have to ask Doug like what the name of the mannequin was, because it did have a name, but I swear it was like Wilfred or something like that. But they named it. And even when I recognized it, I'm like, damn it, Wilfred, or whatever its name was.
Kosta was arrested and he agreed to talk. He said that he loved his wife and he would never cheat on her. He denied being involved with Diedre and said that Lisa had no plans and no reason to even think about divorcing him.
Right. It's not like their marriage wasn't volatile at all. They were happy.
Whereas Diedre was kind of mad. Damn it. Whereas Diedre was matter of fact and nonchalant, Kosta was arrogant. He thought he was smarter than the detectives. And when they showed him a picture of Kevin and asked him if he knew who he was, he said, yeah, that's Kevin Ramsey. He worked with me for about a month. And he said that Kevin had been stealing from the bar and that's why he was fired. They then showed Kosta a picture of Kevin's corpse. And he's like, that doesn't look like Kevin. And they assured him that it was and told him that he was looking at the electric chair. And Kosta still swore that he was innocent. It had more than enough evidence to convict Kosta, but by that time, Lisa was already aware that Kosta had been having an affair. And somebody had called her in October and told her, and that somebody was the wife of Tony Calderoni, Kosta's partner. Lisa decided to file for divorce, which meant that Kosta would lose everything. And this was the plan for Moida. That was when it was hatched. And it was also why Kosta wanted it done yesterday. Oh. Lisa told police that she had seen Kosta late one night roaming around their barbecue pit. And when the house was searched, they checked the pit and they had a bag in it with an AK-47, which Diedre had mentioned, as well as a .22 pistol with a silencer. One thing they hadn't found yet was the videotape that Kosta had made of Diedre killing Kevin Ramsey. But when they searched the garage, a mannequin was found. No, a videotape was found.
Half mannequin. But yeah.
They took it back to the state attorney's office, and they loaded the tape into a VCR. A VCR is something that we watched movies in before we had streaming, and even before DVDs. For all you younger people out there.
Ooh, Betamax.
They pushed play, and there was Diedre speaking, telling whoever was filming her not to show her face. The person filming was never shown, but it was later matched to Kosta's voice. And then the video cut to Kevin Ramsey, who was tied to a tree. Diedre then took out the .22, fired the first 3 shots, and Kevin screamed in pain. And then Diedre walked up, grabbed Kevin's head with one hand by the hair, and then shot him in the head with the other, like a cartel-style execution.
Yikes! That's pretty.
Yeah, I mean, it makes me wonder if she's killed before, because that's pretty bold. That's pretty bold for your first one.
Yeah, I mean, maybe for your first one, you might be kind of, but to grab someone in execution style, shoot, that's, yeah. Oh, and Manfred was the name of the mannequin.
Manfred the mannequin.
Manfred the mannequin. It wasn't Wilfred, it was Manfred, but I was close. I kind of remember.
I like Manfred better. Manfred the mannequin.
Manfred the mannequin.
In court, Diedre was charged of the murder of Chase and charged with she was charged in the murder of Chase, and she was charged with the murder of Ramsey and charged in the attempted murder of Lisa. She was crying crocodile tears and saying that Kosta had forced her to do this. She pled guilty to avoid the death penalty, but she was sentenced to death in Old Sparky anyway. Kosta pled not guilty. He swore that he had nothing to do with any of this. He said that he was innocent. He was the innocent victim. So, because he pled not guilty, that means he's going to trial. On October 8, 1990, Kosta's murder trial began. Lisa testified against Kosta. This testimony pretty much sealed Kosta's fate because it illustrated the motive for the murder scheme, the affair, and Lisa literally saying that Kosta would lose everything.
Oh, poor Kosta. He won't be rich anymore.
He wanted to get her out of the way so that he could make $700,000 on the 2 double indemnity insurance policies and inherit her family's empire. A Boardwalk Empire, if you will. That was a good TV show. Boardwalk Empire. It was really good.
I've never watched it.
Diedre even testified against Kosta. She nailed him to the wall, making him out to be the mastermind of the scheme, saying that he was very controlling in their relationship and that she had been brainwashed by him. And I can see that, and I'm going to walk back my statement above about the crocodile tears that I made earlier. It may have been real. Because...
Wow. But I don't think they were real about her doing what she did. See, it's funny because oftentimes when I see people, murderers and stuff, crying in court, I'm like, you ain't crying because you murdered somebody. Well, because if you were crying because you murdered somebody, you would have been crying before. You're crying because you got caught and because you're being sentenced and because it's not working out as well for you as you hoped.
But I mean, she was legit crying in the video from the actual trial of Kosta.
I'm sure she was, but again, I I'm sorry. If anyone who can execution style murder somebody like that,
yeah, definitely. I'm
I
not saying I
don't.
feel. I'm not saying I feel sorry for her. I'm just saying that I don't think that she was just fake crying. But you know why they're called crocodile tears?
Why?
I'm not making a joke. This is true. It's because when a crocodile eats, they secrete from their eyes, making it look like they're crying. You know, alligators don't do this, but it looks like they're crying as they devour their prey alive, making their tears just basically fake. So, hence
Oh.
crocodile tears. It's like he's not crying. He's not crying because he feels any remorse. He's crying because.
How does that go?
Diedre also testified that Kosta was mentally and physically abusive to her, and she participated in the schemes out of fear for her life. But despite her claims about being used and controlled, let's be honest here, sure, Kosta wanted Lisa dead, but Diedre was manipulating Kosta too. She had her own aspirations that she could achieve if she had played ball with Kosta. But it also came out that Kosta inflicted ritualistic torture on Hunt by cutting her with razors, sucking her blood, and throwing knives, burning her with cigarettes and iron, and poking her with needles, and threatening her with a gun. What a nice guy.
Yeah. I mean, I listen, I can kind of believe that maybe he did do some things to her, but
that's a little much.
I think that, yeah.
But during the trial, other things came to surface, like Kevin Ramsey, who was working for Top Shots, but he had seen Kosta using counterfeit money, and he tried to blackmail Kosta about it, which makes the whole initiation thing even more ridiculous. Like you're trying to blackmail somebody, but you agree to let said person tie you to a tree and shoot in your general direction? Yeah, I hate to blame the victim, but that just doesn't seem smart to me.
No, it really doesn't. And that's why I said earlier, I'm like, I feel bad for the kid, but
yeah, he's just a kid. He doesn't know any better.
Use your head though. Use your head though. I mean, if it
Yeah,
walks like
you
a
try
duck
to
and it quacks like a
blackmail.
duck.
You try to blackmail the guy, and then you're gonna let him tie you to a tree and shoot at you. No, that. I mean, I'm sorry, Kevin, but you should have known better.
Yeah.
Kosta having Diedre shoot him on camera also gave Kosta dirt on Diedre to make him able to force her to do whatever he wanted her to do, and that also makes sense about why he filmed it. Because initially I was like, well, why did he film it? What? Because that's evidence. No, it's evidence that hopefully nobody would ever see, so that he could get whatever he wanted out of Diedre.
Pretty sure any killer that has filmed anything ever never intended for the video to be watched by anybody except maybe for them.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, on a night when they were feeling nostalgic or something about what they did.
There was this case, one of the really early ones. What the hell was the girl's name? Damn. It's right on the tip of my tongue, too. But, it doesn't matter. No. It was these two high school kids that they wanted to become infamous serial killers. And they also wanted to make, like a scary movie. They were movie buffs and wannabe movie producers and stuff like that. They're filming themselves talking and everything about this murder that they're going to do. And in the video, they actually say, "All right, for you FBI people, you weren't fast enough. And any future serial killers watching this, like the video is going to be distributed, like on the dark web or something." Cassie Jo Stoddard, that was the victim's name. But I mean, like, yeah, any future serial killers. There was also a scene in their little home videos where they're like, yeah, we're gonna be you're gonna go down in history, like Ted Bundy, And they just start naming off like the most prolific, most well-known, Ted Bundy, the Hillside Strangler, and they only said one Hillside Strangler. There were two, and then the other one says, "No, those guys were more amateur compared to what we're gonna do. We're gonna be like Ed Gein. Well, Ed Gein killed 2, possibly 3 people. Not exactly a prolific serial killer."
Clearly, they didn't do research for a Crimes, Killers, Cults, and Beer podcast and know the body count of the people they were talking about.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, we're going to be like Ed Gein. Ted Bundy's an amateur. He killed 30 some odd people. We're going to be like Ed Gein, who killed 3. Let's face it, Ed Gein killed 3 people. He killed his brother. Anyway, hashtag but I digress. Diedre also said that Kosta, during this process, when he was filming, he was pointing the AK-47, God, I can't talk today. AK-47 on her.
Just say the gun. So much easier for everybody involved.
The AK-47. Although she didn't seem distressed in the video. I mean, she's been through hell all of her life, and she was tough, but that doesn't mean anything. But since the AK-47 was found in the barbecue pit along with the 22, which was the murder weapon, that bit about him holding the AK on her rings true, in my opinion. Which also lends credibility to him basically manipulating her and all that stuff. So.
Yeah, I mean, I if it was her first murder, again, yeah, pretty hardcore. But if she's not,
yeah, I think she's got more.
If she hasn't been killing people, if she's not psycho, otherwise, I mean, granted, she had a traumatic childhood and everything, but I'm sure that she was manipulated in some way, and maybe again, being a young, good-looking female that really was kind of down on her luck. Mm-hmm. For a long time, living in hotels and stuff. Maybe she did feel like, hey, I finally have someone that's going to take care of me. I finally have someone who's going to make sure that I live a good life. And, you know, I'm sure there was motivation there for her to go along with what he said and whatever.
Yeah. But it also came out that after Brian Chase shot Lisa the first time, the gun jammed. So he wasn't able to get off another shot before Kosta blew him away. That came from Lisa's testimony. It's like he only shot once and it looked like the gun jammed. And because remember when the dispatcher was on the 911 call, they had a they could hear a woman screaming in the background. So she wasn't unconscious or anything like that. So she was able to see that. It's just like she was only shot the one time. But I love it. I love it when they do this. Kosta took the stand in his own defense.
You got me monologuing, you sly dog. Look at you.
He ran the Shaggy defense. Wasn't me. He even said that on the stand that if he could, he'd choke Diedre out right then and there if he could for causing all of the mess and ruining his marriage. He said that none of the evidence was real and that it had been planted to frame him. You mean the AK-47 with your fingerprints on it, Kosta? Or the 22 with the silencer with yours, Diedre's, and Brian Chase's fingerprints on it, Kosta? Or your voice on the videotape, Kosta? Or the fact that both guns were found in your barbecue pit, Kosta? You lying, bruh. Mm.
Wow.
He said that he was well within his rights to shoot Brian Chase, who had tried to murder his wife. And he's right. If this wasn't a staged setting. The voice on the videotape was verified to be Kosta by 6 different experts, and they all testified. Tony Calderoni even identified the voice. He picked Kosta's voice out among several different voice samples that kind of resembled Kostas, and he's like, that's it. That's the one. That's Kosta. So Kosta obviously shouldn't have kept the tape, or at least buried it in a plastic box somewhere. But this guy lived like a wannabe gangster, and he thought that he'd never get caught. What good is a blackmail tape if you can't use it? But that hard evidence was irrefutable. October 25th, 1990, the case concluded, and the jury returned with the verdict: 2 counts of premeditated murder, guilty. Attempted first-degree murder on Lisa, guilty. Conspiracy to commit first-degree murder, guilty. He was sentenced to a date with old Sparky. In 1995, Diedre appealed her death sentence, and she won the appeal and got a retrial, but she was also found guilty there, but she was then sentenced to life without parole. Kosta was initially scheduled to be put to death in 2008, but appeals got it pushed back, and as of 2023, he was still on death row, but no new date has been set. He is at the Rayford prison in Stark, Florida. And sources for this episode are Seduced to Slay, documentary episode The Boardwalk Pied Piper, Murderpedia, Sportskita.com, and the Orlando Sentinel. And that's it. That's the story.
And it was the mannequin the whole time.
Yeah, the mannequin did it.
And apparently, according to Doug, the mannequin, they made the mannequin a Facebook page at one point, and they were all friends with it. And I'm like, this is y'all are nuts. But
that's funny.
Maybe Manfred the mannequin can become like a reoccurring guy on our show. Like, who are we blaming? It's Manfred the mannequin.
You need to put him back up in the background of your camera there.
Well, no, actually, see, we don't have Manfred anymore because I know. It was Manfred actually got waterlogged when we had a storm come through and our garage got some water in it. So Manfred grew a little bit of
he drowned.
Oh, Manfred is no longer a thing. Unfortunately, he was sent to the dump where
well, you heard it here, folks. First time it ever actually was a mannequin. And now we're going to bring in Sandra's husband, Doug, to do his Beer of the Week segment. Welcome, Doug. What do you have for us this week? That's not a good sign.
Hey, Bill. Hey, Sandra. So for today, a little bit on the lighter side, not as dark as last time. I know the couple that I had last time were thick and barely see through them. This is a little lighter, but still on the darker side. So this one for today is it's called Duke's Cold Nose Brown Ale. There we go. Nice picture of a pupper on it. This is from Bold City Brewery out of Jacksonville, Florida. So still Florida beer, but out of Jacksonville, so a little bit further north. And it's a brown ale, like I said. So 6% on the ABV, so a little lighter than again the ones that we had last week with that 13% double barrel aged imperial stout that we had. But yeah, let's go ahead and crack it open and have a look see. A lot of caramel notes in this is from what I was reading on the notes for it, but yeah. Oh yeah.
It's that was a lucky break that you chose a Florida beer because this is a Florida story.
Oh, okay.
It's out of Daytona Beach though.
Ah, gotcha. So yeah, nice caramel color on it. Solid brown ale. Nice head on it as well. So it's a mild brown ale named after Duke, the owner's late beloved boxer. That's what it's named after. Hints of chocolate and caramel with a smooth, nutty finish are the notes for this one. But yeah, looks good.
Must have been a good boy.
Yes. Definitely caramel. Definitely a lot of caramel on the nose for a brown ale. I was expecting a little bit more like nuttiness on it, but definitely caramel on the nose. Mm.
One of these days, I'm gonna try to expand my palate.
That is really good. So, a little on the hoppy side, not too much, but I definitely get some hops on it as well. Probably a little high on the IBUs as far as bitterness goes. But definitely drinkable. This would be a good session beer. Being around that 6% mark, solid, but yeah, it's well balanced and very flavorful. Oh yeah,
cool.
But yeah,
what was its rating?
It is a 83 out of 100 on beeradvocate.com. Again, Beer Advocate, where I go to get most of my beer reviews and such, but it's an 83 out of 100. So,
what's your personal rating?
Personal rating is out of 100. I'd probably say 75 to 80. I mean, it's a solid session beer. You can drink these, put these back really easily. Oh yeah. I'm actually gonna top it back off here because it is. I mean, just look at how it pours. It pours so nice.
Yeah,
look at that.
Looks good.
Nice, like I said, nice head on it. Yeah, that is beautiful. And see the coloring on it. You can see the color come through. That is nice.
Awesome.
But yeah, Bold City Brewing out of Jacksonville. There is the can again with the pupper on it.
With the good boy.
Yeah, the good boy. Duke's Cold Nose Brown Ale, brewed and canned in Jacksonville, Florida.
I think the Duke's restaurant should get that beer.
They should. They absolutely should. But yeah. So that is my beer of the week. And as a reminder, please send me some beers to review. ckcbeer@gmail.com. Send me those recommendations. I'll try to find them, have them on the show, and be sure to try and review them.
Yeah, definitely. And well, we're on an upkick right now with the show. I mean, we've gotten a couple really big boosts, so I'm happy.
Yep.
So
absolutely. So yeah, ckcbeer@gmail.com. Or if you want to send me beers to review and mail them to me, just hit me up on that email. I'll provide you with a way to get in contact with me, so you can send me those beers, and I'll be happy to review them on the show.
Hell yeah, yeah! I want that. I want that to get started. Yeah.
In other words, my husband's like, "Please send me free beer."
Yes, please send me free beer. Yes, yeah. Absolutely.
Beer's expensive. It's not as expensive as eggs, but it is expensive.
I mean, it not as expensive as eggs, but I mean, certain beers this 6-pack was, I think, like $8 for this. I mean, it was like $8 or $10 for a 6-pack. Not too bad. I mean, but then again, I've also spent, $60, $80 on a single beer before. So,
that better have been a good beer.
Yeah. Yeah, my most recent one was $100. I spent $100 on a single beer. But to be fair, that beer, the box that it came in is a dice tower, and it came with a set of dice for D&D.
She gave you a side eye when you said $100 for one beer.
Yeah.
No, I know all about it. I just, I don't approve of his habits all the time, but
once in a while, though.
Well, I'm just waiting. I'm actually kind of glad, because for Christmas I was asking him what he wanted, and and part of me was thinking, oh, maybe I'll go and I'll buy him a really expensive like whiskey or something like that, and he's like, oh, I don't know, honey. I don't know if that's a good. I said, I was going to buy you like a $700 whiskey, and you wanted pots and pans instead to cook with. So, that's what he got instead.
So anyway, thanks for coming on, Doug, and thanks a lot for listening, everybody. Appreciate the hell out of it. Please subscribe, follow on the YouTube page or whatever whatever platform you use, Spotify, Apple, iHeart, whatever. please be sure to leave us a 5-star rating. It really helps grow the show. But what helps most is word of mouth. So if you like us, tell a friend. If you hate us, tell an enemy. And until next week, later.
Cheers.
Bye.